Hey, this is John Carlos, and I'm here with a look at the Marvel Legends Infinite Series action figure of the Hulk from Avengers Age of Ultron. This figure comes with one accessory. This is the Build-A-Figure Thanos wave, so here's Thanos' right arm. I don't know, the detail on the knuckles are cool, you know, the articulation's fine. It's just his arm. Now, the figure itself, it's really cool looking and really big. I mean, you could see that it barely fit top to bottom in the packaging. There are a few things worth noting that aren't awesome about it. Like, first of all, his chest is a lighter color green than his arms and his feet, and that's annoying. Same thing with his head. The actual plastic here just doesn't match, and that kind of bugs me. Other than that, nothing really bugs me, but it is worth noting that a lot of this figure is reused from another figure. Back when Hasbro was doing their, Marvel Legends line, they hadn't started the Infinite series yet, but the same 6-inch scale figures. They did like Iron Man 3 figures, and they did 6-inch Avengers figures available at Walmart. And these are the exact same feet. I mean, you look at them up close and you can see that they're the exact same veins, toe placement, and everything. The legs are different, the torso's different, but the arms are identical. Not the hands, but the joint here, the bicep, and then down here, I mean, it's the exact same sculpting. You can see them. The chest is different, the head is different, and thankfully, the left fist is different. They're similar looking, but they're not identical. But arms and feet have been reused. I don't know if that matters to some of you guys. It's small enough that it doesn't matter to me. At least there's unique head sculpts here. They're similar head sculpts, but there's enough differences that I really do appreciate the fact that this is, still considered a newer figure. Now, if you go in for a closer look, I think they did a pretty good job with this head sculpt. You can get a look at, like, that sculpt of that mouth. I like the fact that you can see both of his teeth. That previous figure, you could only see his bottom row teeth, which was, a creative decision, and I dug it, but I mean, the fact they sculpted his teeth and the kind of spaces in between it, and that grimace, and his cheekbones, and his eyebrows look good. The furrowed brow looks freaking awesome. But the way they handled his nose and his forehead, I think the sculpting on this looks really, really rad. And I think the way they handled his hair looks good too. Now, if you look at his chest, it's a kind of a smooth surface compared to that previous one I just showed you, which had a little more texture to it. I kind of preferred that texture, but this isn't a bad looking chest. It is off color, but the actual surface of it, as far as the sculpting of like the muscles, the ridge right here by like his neck and his upper chest, does look pretty good. The detail within his biceps look good, and I do like the texture of his stretchy pants here. Because, when you're a man, sometimes you wear stretchy pants in your room. Is for fun. And clearly Banner likes the stretchy pants. I like they have these little tiny Avengers A logo on the side. That paint on that looks really good. And the overall texture of the detail of the design of the pants, the way like it kind of wrinkles in some spots but also hugs the muscle in others, really good sculpting on these pants. I do wish some thought had gone into the texturing of his pants below his knee, because you can see they've recycled his old legs and they've just sort of painted a line across them. But there is a texture to the pants that is present above the knee that clearly is not present below the knee because it's just a recycled part with paint on it. And I think that's a little tacky. Speaking of his legs, let's go ahead and look at the articulation. You've got the swivel and the hinge. You've got a double knee joint, and I like double knee joints a lot. I find them very helpful. Also, you've got a ball hinge at the waist with like the noticeable hinge line right there. So you got a good range of motion there. His torso has a great range of motion. You can really like rear him back for some like big, super like angry poses. You got the ball hinge at the shoulder, swivel at the bicep. You've got a double hinge at the elbow, which is great. You can almost get him to like a King Kong like pose. And you've got a swivel hinge at the wrist, which allows the wrist to kind of come in and out like so. And you've got not only the swivel there so it can roar, like rear back and forward, but side to side. And you got a ball hinge at the head, which doesn't really do much up and down, but does turn pretty well. So here he is with his legs kind of spread apart and his ankle joint swiveled, which allows him to get into such a spread-legged pose. Pretty good range of motion as far as like articulation goes. I like rearing him back to make him like, you know, super angry attack. I don't know. You know, I complained a little bit about the mismatch and the fact that like his legs are recycled, not properly painted. But despite all that, I really do dig this figure. I think he looks really, really rad on the shelf. He doesn't really come with any accessories, but like he doesn't really need any. He's the freaking Hulk. And there's no denying he looks really rad. I particularly like his head sculpt. You know, you can get this at most mass retailers for like 20 bucks, and I think it's pretty cool. Thanks for watching.